I'm Dustin Grinnell, and this is Curiously.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine a life without music. Not possible, right? Music plays such a big role in most of our lives. Music motivates at the start of a day and relaxes at the end. It helps us push through routines and cope with emotions. It fuels the creative process. Music can spark old memories and create new ones. It helps us connect with others and build community. Today on the podcast, we're joined by a dynamic musical duo, Leo Sun and Claire Davis, who have dedicated their lives to creating music that resonates with music lovers of all kinds. Leo and Claire lead the Q-Tip Bandits, a Boston-based indie pop band known for their genre-defying sound and soul-stirring performances. In this episode, we dive into the stories behind their hits, explore their creative process, and discuss experiences that have shaped their art. And get ready to be serenaded with live acoustic renditions of some of their most beloved tracks. With Leo's velvety vocals and Claire's mesmerizing guitar melodies, their synergy is undeniable. So, without further ado, I give you Leo Sun and Claire Davis of the Q-Tip Bandits.
Yeah.
This is so fucking cool. So, Leo Sun, Claire Davis, welcome to the podcast.
Hello.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Really appreciate you guys coming here. I was listening to your music on the way down and just rocking out. I really like your guys' style, and I really appreciate you coming on to talk about your music. So I think before we dive into some of the questions, could you just give us a little bit of a introduction to the composition of your band? Like who's in it and their names and what do they play? Like what is the makeup of your band?
Yeah. So we are the Q-Tip Bandits, and Leo and I are 2 out of 5 members. And so we are the front people as well as bassist and guitarist. And our other members are our trumpet player, Maclin Tucker, our drummer, Dakota Maykrantz, and our trombone player, Hoyt Parquet.
Cool. Mm-hmm. And how did you guys meet? How did you then form a band?
Well, we all met at Berklee College of Music, so the band thing might have been a given, but not everybody goes to Berklee to try to make it as an artist, but I definitely arrived at Berklee with a collection of songs, and my whole vision or goal or aspiration was to meet my bandmates, meet the people who were going to bring my music to life. And Claire and I met at a recording session. It was one of those quintessential first-year Berklee, you can only book the studios at 2 a.m. So we met at like 10 p.m. for like the one rehearsal before recording. And I just remember that like we were playing a very simple thing. It was nothing too flashy, but we were both enjoying it and locking in, dancing and having a good time. And I remember that's when I asked Claire to join the project, and everybody else seemed to follow suit. We all knew each other through like dorm mates, roommates, and Hoyt actually, our trombonist, found us on Instagram because we put out a little Instagram blast and he slid right into the DMs. And yeah, the rest is history.
And did you guys, that night that you met and played together, did you just decide to get together then and form a band and go for it?
I think it wasn't quite so immediate. It was definitely like a few weeks later, but the like musical connection was definitely instantaneous that night. It was like, wow, like this works. We have fun playing with each other, and like we should keep doing this in some capacity. But as far as becoming a band and joining the band, I think Leo didn't ask me until a few weeks after that initial recording session. And
Totally.
He just happened to not have a bass player for the band yet, which worked out great for me.
Define musical connection. What does that mean? You just guys were vibing.
Yeah, I think there's something interesting that I think happens, at least it happened for me when I went to Berklee, and I hear happens at other music schools and art schools. It's like we all have this chip on our shoulder when we're thrown into this space of incredible talent. And it's like there's a lot of flexing one's abilities, which is really incredible. And it takes a lot of practice and proficiency, and it's amazing to be in that space. But I think it's easy to lose what makes music music when approaching it from that perspective. And in my couple months before meeting Claire at Berklee, it was a lot of that. and it was a lot of things that were pushing me to grow very quickly. But in that jam session, in that rehearsal, in that space, the musical connection was just like, we played this simple 3-chord thing. Nothing really flashy was happening, but we were locking in on the groove. And we reached this place where it's like, the music was playing, and we were able to be in the space rather than feeling like we needed to manipulate the space even more. It was like we had found that groove, and we're dancing and connecting and really locking eyes with the other players, and it was just a moment of connection through music, if that makes sense.
Do you remember what you were playing?
I think it was the Joker. It's like, wah, 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 wah. Yeah, I'm a joker, I'm a smoker, I'm a midnight toker.
It's somewhere in there.
It's like,
You're right.
It's like a 1-4-5 kind of dude. Yeah. It was that simple. Yeah.
That's awesome. So I feel like in everyday life, in routines and just living, I so rarely see the emotion of joy. And I just saw joy.
Aww.
You know, you guys are joyful, man. You know, it's
Thank
like
you.
the cliche of like coming alive when you guys are playing, man, smiling, moving, jamming, you know? So I just think that's really cool to see someone so joyful. And it seems like music does that for you guys, at least.
Yeah, I'd like to think so. And I'm glad it shows
Why
also
else?
Outwardly.
It shows when you perform too.
Yeah.
Seeing you guys, seeing you
thank you.
perform.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was really meaningful to hear. For real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I just instantly like, whoa, you guys are really happy. Q-Tip Bandits, where did the name come from? Did that come early or right away? Or
Yeah, it was pretty instantaneous. This was before Claire joined the band, so a little more backstory and a little more tea maybe is that I had this group already, and I was trying to figure out the sound, trying to figure out the arrangement, maybe putting a little too much of me into it, not enough of what the music wanted to be at the time. But we were just shooting the shit. We were just like, we got to come up with a band name. This project needs a name. And it was like Velociraptor, Infinite Jest was one of the options. Like just the craziest thing you could think of. There's a cellist at the time, Michelle Packman, phenomenal cellist. But she was like, we should call it the Three Skins and tell people one of the members got cut. And like, just like these crazy ideas
hit
being
the cutting
thrown
room
out.
floor.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It was like, okay, yeah. Like, no, but that's
no idea is
fantastic.
bad.
Yeah, exactly. Every idea flies in this space. And I remember saying the Q-Tip Bandits, and there was like a resounding like, that's really great, but maybe not for this project. And we were playing like a stripped down set over at the Bebop that's on Boylston. It had just opened up at the time, and it was me, Aaron Gunther, and Patrick Shelley. And I remember introducing the band. And it was like, every band needs a name, and that was the first name that popped into my head. And I was just like, we're the Q-Tip Bandits. And it just stuck. And over time, we've kind of adopted the meaning that we're here to clean ears and steal hearts.
Oh, man. Nice tagline. Yeah, it's a fun name. It's whimsical and fun. And I feel like it matches your vibe a little bit. In terms of genre, would you guys say, is it indie pop? Is that the genre?
Yeah, it's been something that we have kind of struggled to place throughout the years, and we get all sorts of different genre labels from different people who hear us play. But I think as far as us referring to ourselves, we yet like to say like indie pop, indie rock, but we like to differentiate that and we also have a brass section, which is something that most other indie rock, indie pop bands don't usually have. So as a more like clarifier of the sound.
What does it mean to you guys that you have a brass section? What does that kind of combination of sounds mean to you?
I like to think that a brass section makes everything a party, and our horn players definitely make that very true.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think where a lot of other indie rock, indie pop bands might have like a second guitarist that plays like, the lead lines, or maybe like a keyboard that plays the lead lines, we have a horn section that plays those lead lines instead. Yeah, I think it gives us a little bit of a different flavor and also kind of a representative flavor of like just where we all come from with very different musical backgrounds. Like our trombone player Hoyt is from New Orleans, and brass down there is huge, and it's really nice to kind of have that flavor of like his hometown, his upbringing in our music as well.
I got to agree. I think brass makes everything a fanfare. Like all of a sudden it's like the Renaissance fair. I just imagine those big bugles. But also it's just like, I talk about this with other wind instrument players, anything that takes the breath. Like there's something so like connected to the player about brass, about wind. It's like, as a guitarist, I mean, it's different as a vocalist because we need to kind of be centered in our body in that way to an extent to deliver. But sometimes when I play the guitar, it's like, even if I'm short of breath, even if I'm nervous or anxious, my body can still play the instrument mechanically because it doesn't take the breath to operate that. The breath is such a vulnerable thing. And to have brass and that feeling of like you're getting this straight from the source energy from these two incredible musicians and incredible performers and just incredible people to have as bandmates, it instantly creates like a deeper connection with the audience. Regardless of sonic quality, if you like brass or not, I just think the moment they play, it's just like every head in the room turns toward the stage to see who's playing those instruments.
Yeah, it's interesting powering guitars with your fingers and brain, and powering a trombone with your lungs and your brain. It's
Right.
different vibe.
The breath shows. Like when I'm nervous, the breath gets shallow. When I'm more relaxed, the breath gets deeper. And to be so mindful of that. I am in awe of brass players and wind instrument players. That's one of those instruments that if I could pick up and play right away, I would love to be able to know how. And I think it just comes back to that like connection with the body when playing.
So you guys are holding instruments. What are you holding? What are these instruments? And if you could just let me know, like, what's your connection to it? Like, how'd you growing up and what interested you in that instrument specifically? And then maybe play something on it?
Yeah. I guess I'll share first. I'm the bass player in the band, so I'm currently holding a bass guitar. But it was not the first instrument that I picked up. I started on the harp when I was 6 years old and really just was always kind of drawn to music and drawn to strings and making sounds and things like that. And so my parents got me into harp lessons when I was very young. But then the older I got, the more I realized that the music I was listening to was not the music that I could play on my instrument. Like I was in 4th grade and like listening to Avril Lavigne and like rocking out to Skater Boy, and I was like, I can't play that on the harp. And so I picked up the guitar, and then in middle school, like everyone picks an instrument, I picked up the upright bass, and then in 7th grade discovered I could combine the upright bass from school with the guitar that I was learning outside of school into the bass guitar, and I was sold. That was it for me. I loved no other instrument more than the bass from that point forward, and I've been dedicating a lot of time to it ever since then, and really have grown to love playing my instrument.
First verse, chorus. Let's do it. I backed my car into a cop car the other day. Well, he just drove off, sometimes life's okay. I ran my mouth off a bit too much, oh, what did I say? Well, you just laughed it off, it was all okay. It was all okay. And we'll all float on 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 anyway.
What was that?
That was a cover of a song by Modest Mouse. And they've been around for maybe 15, 20 years from the Boston area.
Called Float On.
Called Float On.
Very cool.
Yeah, our little rendition of that.
Yeah. Your instrument, Leo.
Yes, I am currently holding a GS Mini, which is an acoustic guitar made by Taylor. And I started playing the guitar when I was 12. I had been put into classical piano lessons when I was 4 years old as an attempt to maybe increase my intellect. But I really, from what I'm told, excelled at it, or had like a knack for remembering melodies and remembering parts. And from there, I did like the thing too in middle school is like everybody plays the violin for a year. Everybody plays the recorder for a year. And when it came time to choose an instrument, I chose the clarinet because they told me if I wanted to play the saxophone, I needed to play the clarinet first. Come to find out years later that I know many saxophone players who have never touched a clarinet.
Big news. Yeah,
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
They just needed clarinet
They
players.
just needed clarinet players. And there's a kid who wants to play music. Give him a fucking clarinet. He'll never know the difference. To this day, I've not played a saxophone.
Still waiting.
Still waiting for that day.
There's plenty of time.
Right?
Definitely.
Waiting for that middle school music teacher to be like, you're ready. Put the clarinet down.
You can finally transition.
Yeah, that's right. And I started listening to like from everything from like classic rock, like Zeppelin, Ramones, AC/DC, Chili Peppers, Weezer, to like Jack Johnson, Jason Mraz, Eric Hutchinson, like acoustic singer-songwriter stuff. And to put it in very plain words, it's like I wanted to be cool. You know, I thought guitar and music were like the coolest things there were. And like I wanted people to look at me the way that I looked at these heroes that I had made. And it wasn't until like I gave college a fair shot. This was pre-Berklee. And I ended up dropping out of school and reevaluating what I wanted. And it was like I was really grateful that I had guitar in my life at that time in this soul-searching kind of period. And I think that's where a transition happened, where it was like, I'm not playing to be cool anymore. I'm playing to find myself and like discover through music and heal through music. And that's what became cool about it. And I think the big spark was like I got really into watching Red Hot Chili Peppers live videos and just watching John Frusciante, the lead guitarist, just like when he would play, it just seemed like there was no disconnect between him and the instrument, and like the sense of freedom, the sense of like everything in the world has just melted away and I am existing in this moment, and when the note bends, I bend, and my body shows this feeling, and just want to be free like John Frusciante.
And you feel that way when you play?
More than anything else in life, I think, when I'm playing and performing and getting to share the stage with people who I have developed a deep connection and love for, and then share that energy with a room full of people who, to my understanding, care about what I'm doing for whatever reason, however they got there.
I've seen the audiences, and I can confirm that they care. Just my hot take.
Yeah, fair.
And talk to me about, it's one thing to commit to your instrument, to your music, to say to yourself, like, this is going to be my life, you know? It's another thing to master it. It's another thing to learn the craft and get better and fail and grow. What was that process for you guys of mastering the craft of your music and your instrument?
I would say I am still far from having mastered that craft.
On that path still. Yeah.
I think it's a lifelong thing, right?
Absolutely.
You can be in your 70s and 80s and you're still trying to reach for that perfection, that excellence that's always out of reach.
It's an interesting balance of like, I'm perfect in every moment in the expression, because the channel is only as open as I have carved it out to be open. So when we perform, when we practice, when we play, and I'm giving it my all, and I check in with myself about that, that's perfect in that moment. But also recognizing that I can still get better, or I can still widen this channel or clear out some of the wreckage in the channel. It's always this ongoing process that I don't think I'll ever master.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of different ways to go through that process and to like be on the journey of mastering your instrument. And I think, at least for me, I was so bad at practicing. whatever instrument I played, I hated practicing, but I loved performing. And so that was kind of where all of my like playing experience came from, was I would just like learn songs and like go to perform them and like just try to find spaces that I could like play songs for people or like make videos and things like that. And I think that definitely, you know, leads to benefits and downsides. Like I think I'm definitely not the most like proficient bass player in terms of like music theory, all these other things, you know, technical ability. But from my experience, like I feel like I'm a great performer, you know, like I have other skill sets that I think my path of learning and playing my instrument led me down. And I think everyone has a different experience with that, but that was at least more my journey of getting here and getting better at the bass.
Confirm, Claire's a great performer.
Thank you.
Yeah, totally. And it's an interesting idea too. Like you're talking about maybe not loving the process of practicing, but loving performing. Mm-hmm. Do you almost feel like the music is incomplete without the performance? Like you need the audience in order for you to feel like it's right? Or
I think it's different. Because I think like a recorded piece of music can exist without the audience. And I think that is totally good and fine. And it's just a separate space for something to exist in. But I do think, at least as far as our band philosophy goes, we always like to think of like a piece of music isn't complete until we've played it for people and we've kind of like gotten an audience reaction. And we usually like take a song and we shape it afterwards, after we have played it for people. And yeah, I don't know. I think playing a song for people is a big part of bringing a song to life and creating a song.
Yeah, I think that's like the moment where what we do can become valuable to more people. And I think that's kind of the goal at the end of the day. And I've been trying to stomach this little part as like Claire and I share the songwriting role in this band. And I'm not sure if you feel the same way, Claire, but I've kind of come to learn that like even when I play the song alone and I'm writing it and there's this moment of like conception, if you want to call it, it's like, oh, that's the idea. Oh, that's the concept. Oh, I'm feeling something by myself in the room with this instrument and these words and this melody and this harmony. And that moment is like, I'm doing this for me. I'm doing this for me and whatever connection I have with the world around me and trying to make meaning of my space. And then when I present it to the band, that's another like, hey, I created this thing. Do y'all want to help me shape this into something that is meaningful to others as well? Because I know the core was meaningful to me. And then when we present it to the audience, it's like, now we see if we have created something that has that ability to move people and to connect.
Now, when you say, you know, you happen upon like the core of an idea, like the concept, what does that mean? Like, is it a set of lyrics? Is it like, oh, here's like a topic or subject matter? Or does the melody drift into your head? Like, what's that mean when you get the core of it and you're really excited on your own, maybe for both of you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's asking, you know, how do you write a
question.
song, you know?
Yeah.
I write fiction and nonfiction, and I don't know how it's done. You know? Something comes into your head and, well, that feels like a first sentence. Or, you know, you get an idea about structure. That's how I want to end. Mm-hmm. Or, oh, that would be a useful quote to use here. And you just start constructing. And I wonder if the music writing process is similar or dissimilar. I don't know.
I think so. I think at least for me, I very much relate to what you said about like someone will say a sentence or I'll read a sentence or something will just like pop into my head of like, oh, that's a cool way to phrase that, or that's like an interesting, I could expand on this concept into, you know, something that it could turn into a song or a story of some sort. And I think generally most of the songs that I write start with a lyric or at least a lyrical concept that I think hasn't maybe been written about enough, or I have not heard a song written about it. And then sometimes the music will follow after that. Sometimes they'll happen hand in hand. And sometimes I'll get like a little melody and then I'll try and find the lyrics to that melody and go from there. So it really, it's not a
linear.
It's not a linear process. It's different every time. But what about you?
Yeah, I think I'm recently in the last few months I've moved into like writing prose and taking little bits that come out of that and writing a few stanzas from ideas or sentences from there that feel more like poetry to me. And then I'll try to fit those over music, reword it to fit the rhythm of like a guitar part that I have in mind. But for the most part, I like to sit down with the guitar and just fiddle around. And like with Willow, for example, like that chord was just like, okay, where does my ear want to go? And then naturally it was like, okay, what's the next bass note that I want to hear? Something's drawing me to that. What notes do I want to hear above it? And then you have two chords, or I had two chords to a song. And this is before I had like the theory knowledge that I have now and just like following that. Where does the song want to go as a question? And for me, it's a lot of like, find the musical element, sing gibberish over it until I find a melody that like soothes me or makes me feel something. And then I'll just try to see what words fit in those spaces and try to construct a meaning from that.
Yeah, I remember reading like Stephen King's book on writing. He talks about how he does what he does, and there's something of a mysterious, magical process to it. He talks about how a story is kind of buried under the earth, and he has to kind of like dig and wipe away the sand to get to the story, almost as if it's already there.
Yeah.
It's already created, and you're just kind of bringing it into the world. And it's interesting to hear you talk about how you're like following the sound. It's sort of like this, what's next? What's this sound calling for next? And following that until it like reaches a level of completeness. Like that's a really interesting process.
Yeah, we've definitely experienced that recently as well. We're working on a new EP and first time working with a producer, and he's kind of been that person in our corner that is, I think, used that language of like, dig a little deeper, you know, like we're almost there. Just keep digging for that next idea. I think we're almost to where this song wants to be.
Have you guys heard of Rick Rubin? Yeah, he's kind of guru, musical producer. He's all over the place now because he just published a book on how he does what he does. But he had this 60-minute segment as well. And he seems to be the quintessential midwife for musicians. It's sort of like they just jam, and he says, there's something about my taste and experience that is telling you to follow this part right here. So just wipe away everything else and go with that, you know? And I think that's art making, really, because you just kind of throw a bunch of raw material into the air or onto the page or whatever, and it's a process of selection. That suits my taste, or that sounds different, or whatever, and then kind of following it.
Right.
I haven't read his book yet, but it's very ethereal and sort of.
Totally.
Yeah.
But he's a guru, you know. He's kind of knows how to get the sound, I guess.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's someone that I think, as Leo said earlier, Red Hot Chili Peppers was a big influence for him and myself as well. That was one of our like first main bonding moments, I guess, was discovering that we both kind of grew up listening to this band and were very shaped by those musicians.
Right, and it was like we knew all the deep cuts. Like it was it was something that brought us together very quickly. Yeah.
And Rick Rubin, you know, big part of their sound and their journey. So
right, yeah.
Yeah.
He did Blood Sugar Sex Magic was the first record he did with them, and a lot of those ideas and simplification of a lot of the musical parts is what I kind of see it as, and like getting to the core of what the part is, you know, removing the fluff. And the fluff is great, the fluff is cool.
The fluff gets you to the song.
Yeah.
I feel like something that also we've been through this process of like working with a producer recently, we've been kind of experimenting with is like, as of now, our songs have always been kind of journeys on their own. Like they've been little tiny books or like little chapters of books, and like,
little memoirs.
Little memoirs. And in working with like an outsider or an outside perspective, he will often challenge us to be like, well, what if this song wasn't a whole book or a whole journey? Like, what if this is just a moment? What if this is just a sentence, you know? And it can be a greater part of like a greater whole, but this particular song can just live in this one moment for a second, which is something that's new to us. And there's just so many ways to think about songs and about music, and there's so many different directions to take. And it's been cool to experiment and dig deeper and see where the song wants to go.
Yeah, I like that you talk about taste, and like there's so much that's just subjective, but I think there's truth to like a collective conscience in the band, or like in the creative group, or whoever is a part of this collaboration team. There's truth in the collective conscience, where it's like so much of our decision making is like, who likes it? I like it. You like it. You don't like it. You don't like it. You're kind of on the fence. All right. Do we vote on it now, or do we try like 10 other ideas until maybe it's like 4 of us like it and one of us is kind of on the fence, and then we can kind of commit to that idea. And it's just like so much of it is opinion based, but the closer we can get to something that's like everybody's vibing with it, everybody feels like it's doing something, we're closer to the tapping into whatever that collective space is. And yeah, that's kind of where the heads start clashing, but that's kind of where the fun happens.
Yeah. So you guys have instruments in your hand. It feels like a sin not to be playing something at like every 5-minute interval. Do you guys want to play a song? Like, did you have something in mind, or? Yeah,
sure. We can play the first song we as a band ever put out, I guess.
Let's do it.
From what album? Is it the first?
This is our first ever single. It's called Willow.
Fire and I've been batshit deranged. Found my castle through a jungle of silly strain. But my mama, she asked me why I fly so low, so low. Your teardrops of hail impale my skin, while the lightning laughs at me. The jackals, they cackle into the night. They leave me wondering why I hear the whispers of the willow and all the sirens of the sea. Found shelter while outside the wind blows from all the sights I've yet to see. I hear you call my name. I hear you call my name. I seen fire and I've been batshit deranged. I'm no higher than a man who hangs on string. But my mama, she asked me why I hang so low, so low. Rolling thunder meets the rumbling in my stomach. I will wonder if I ever grow up from it. But my mama, she asked me why I grow so slow, so slow. I hear the whispers of the willow and all the sirens of the sea.
found shelter while outside the wind blows from all the sights I've yet to see. And I hear you call my name. I hear you call my name.
Someone had to clap.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Where'd that come from, that song?
This song for me came from a place of a lot of healing. I had just moved home from California, and I had a lot of substance abuse things going on. And
This after Berklee? Or?
this is before Berklee.
Okay. After
Yeah.
college, probably?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I was going to college in Los Angeles. And it was when I first kind of picked up the guitar again, and it's kind of that space where it's like, you asked how the songs were written earlier. And this was one of those songs where I started with the guitar part, and it really just started with screaming. And I was screaming notes over these two chords. And oddly enough, or surely enough, turns into I really well. And so the first lyric of that song, I seen fire, was just me going like, and it's just, yeah, it came from that space of needing to heal, needing to like let something out, needing to be grounded in the world around me.
How did the, song-making process facilitate healing? Well, why is it that the guitar, the song, is that kind of facilitator for you?
I think for me, part of why making music is healing and grounding is because when we, or at least I'll speak for myself, when I sit down with my guitar and when I sing, I get to create my own space. I get to hear the reflections of something I'm doing in the space that I'm in. It kind of reminds me that I'm there. It reminds me that I'm in this moment. I don't know if there's other like physiological things of like the vibration in my body or the strings vibrating under my fingertips, and these are like acupuncture points. Like maybe I've heard a lot of things along the way, but more than anything, it's like when I write a song, it gives meaning to a feeling that I feel alone in. And here's this tangible thing, as wispy and in the air as it is, that is birthed from my feeling. And this thing that I thought was so internal and painful, and there's like this inability to like take this and just be like, here, feel it, take it, rip it right out of me, fucking take it. Music has that ability for me of just like, now here's this thing that creates feeling or generates something that is outside of me, and I can hear it and I can feel it in the air, and it's not just in me anymore, it's in the space that I'm in. And there's something grounding and liberating about that to me.
What about you, Claire? Any of that resonate with you in terms of how it works for you and how you engage with music?
Yeah, I think music is great at taking those feelings that we don't really know how to share with others and like Leo said, put them in a tangible format. And I think music as well as poetry has just this way of being like, oh, wow, like hearing it from someone else's perspective, right? And being like, wow, I can't believe I've never thought about that feeling in this certain way, or I've never been able to put it into words like this person just did. And it makes you be able to feel that feeling in a whole nother way. And, sometimes you really just need to feel that feeling to get through whatever you're getting through in that moment. And the perk of music beyond just poetry is that you get this added layer of depth of just the crazy feeling that, vibrations can make you feel in certain frequencies, and really just putting that together with meaningful lyrics, I feel like is so cool. I can't believe that humans get to do this thing and get to share it with each other. It's such a cool thing.
Yeah, which is cool, like getting back to a previous point of like the digging for something. It's almost like we know what vibration we want to feel when the song is like beginning to be written. We know the feeling we want.
You talked about screaming.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that led to,
Yeah. It's like, it's cool that it's this like human thing that we get to give meaning to. And it's like a thing that we share. Like that note going to the next note creates more or less the same feeling for me as it does for Claire. And the question is that the feeling we want to feel?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember Friedrich Nietzsche, a philosopher, German philosopher, he said life without music would be a mistake. It just doesn't work. What is life without music? What if you guys didn't have music? Where does that leave you? I know.
Like at all? Or if we were not doing music
How
right
heavy
now?
do I go,
Let's just go right to the max. Well, no, like civilization without music at all. Yeah, I don't
like
know.
the Giver kind of situation where it's like everything's black and white,
dystopian.
no music.
Yeah, good example. Yeah.
I think there's a level of like the intellect in me is like, well, if I didn't know it, it didn't exist. I wouldn't know I was missing anything. But there's that thing of like, there's that itch of like, well, I still feel things. There still needs to be something to get it out. That aside, I don't know if I would be here if music didn't exist. Music is like the place that I turn to, like Claire was saying, like when I'm sad, when I have these feelings that feel so overwhelming and I feel alone in them, I think about my favorite musical artists. That's where my brain goes. I think about my favorite songs. Sometimes they're ones to pull me out of that darkness and remind me that like life is worth living and that there's beauty and love to be experienced. But sometimes those songs are also like the things that rip the feeling out of me. The songs that remind me that I'm not alone in my feeling and I can listen to and just weep because I'm reminded that somebody else out there that I've never met, that I may never meet, feels this way too. And I feel less alone. And I think without music, I would not be here today. I think something or somebody or myself would have probably wanted to leave this realm of existence because this thing gives me connectivity. The music reminds me that I'm alive.
Yeah, that's interesting too, just the idea of music, but storytelling in general. It's a way to make meaning, to give meaning to your existence. But it is also, like you said, a way to feel less alone because, someone else has been through this and this is how they navigated it. And especially through fiction, we can objectively judge characters through a story about how they're navigating that challenge. And maybe they navigated it in a way we wouldn't navigate it, or maybe they're doing it the way we would maybe want to do it. So we get to see this like simulation play out.
Yeah.
Totally. There's a lot to be learned from fiction. Yeah.
Well, yeah. When listening to your music and lyrics, I think about poetry, the turns of phrases. I think it's in Tiptoe, even the devil needs a friend to rely on. Is that what it is?
To depend on.
To depend on, yeah.
Yes.
That's an interesting line.
Yeah.
That's poetry.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I feel like we could talk about, the art like all day. I want to talk about the business too. So the business side, right?
It's a big part of it.
So it's one thing to learn your craft and fall in love with your art and to put it out there, but it's another thing to go for it. Like you guys, you're touring, you're getting up there, you're putting yourself out there through different digital channels and producing. Talk about that experience of like making that step. Like, okay, we are going to go pro. And like, what's that been like?
it's a journey of just one step after the next. I think it is less a decision of one day you're like, we are going to go pro, and more of like well, we have songs. We want to play a show. Oh, okay, we've played a show. We want to play another one, but with more people there this time. Oh, okay, we did that. What's next? Oh, okay, we want to play a festival. Okay, how do we make that happen? And it's a bunch of little steps to trying to get to the big picture. And yeah, we've been doing this for almost 6 years
Going on
now.
6.
And yeah, it's definitely been, Leo and I put a lot of time and effort into this band. And I heard someone say a while back, if you're not doing at least one thing every day to make your dream happen, then it's not going to happen. And I really think that is true. It could be even the tiniest thing of like, oh, today I'm working on a song and tomorrow I'm going to do a social media post and the next day I'm going to send this email out to this person. And just doing one little thing each day to make something bigger happen.
It's 365 chances, you know. The odds increase, you know. It's one yes out of 1,000 no's. And I think it comes back to a question you asked earlier too about mastery of craft. And rather than mastery, I think it's because we touched on how that's like a lifelong process, but more so what I feel like I've found is like calling and purpose. And it's like, I think why we're still around is like, we've played the shows where we drove 10 hours and played to 3 people in a basement. And that can feel like failure. At the time, it didn't feel like the best night, but we showed up, we played to the room like there was 100 people, and I still believe that those people think about us every once in a while, you know? But that aside, it's like, I will only know once I give it an honest shot. And when that honest shot happens and it didn't pan out how I wanted it to, am I still called to do this work? And in that space, it's just like those questions that Claire talks about. It's like, okay, well, how do we make it happen now? What do we want out of this? And how do we make that happen? And this continuous like, okay, that was really great, but that wasn't it. What can we do now? And this continuous reevaluation and asking ourselves questions. And leaning back on that calling, that purpose for me is like, that is the thing that brings me back to it continuously enough for it to grow into something. And it's that drive of like, I know that I have to do this. And so I show up for it.
Yeah, I get the sense that you guys can't not do this. You guys have day jobs? Like, how do you make the numbers work?
Yeah. I would consider myself a gig worker, and in the sense of I have tried to avoid getting a day job for as long as I possibly can.
God bless you. Yeah.
I really just try and say yes to as many gigs as I possibly can, which for me as a musician looks like weekends during summer when we're not playing gigs as the Q-Tip Bandits. I'm playing wedding gigs, and I'm, doing that on the side, or I'm doing some session work as a bass player and writing and collaborating with other people. Also just saying yes to random non-musical gigs, which is how I met Ellen, who is the reason we are on this podcast today.
My neighbor who was on the podcast as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out Ellen.
Ellen Damsky.
The Craigslist queen.
the myth, the legend. Yeah.
So Leo and I also do a lot of like Craigslist searching, looking for gigs and looking for random things to just have anything that will help us kind of make ends meet in order to help us keep doing the music thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for answering that in such a practical way. Like, it seems like you just cobble things together. You combine income sources and you make it work.
Right. Mm-hmm. There's some months where I'm really like, I don't know how this worked, but this ended up working this month. Let's try again next month.
How do you navigate that? One could say it's sort of a precarious, other people may prefer like more security and stability of like a salary or something. How do you manage that?
Yeah, like I said, I go a month, a year at a time. I I have many other friends who I feel like have kind of opted for more of that stability, security, and that is a total respectable choice. I think just looking down the line a few years, it can be scary to be like, okay, music is such a volatile thing. Like, should I get into something else and then just have music be the side project until it can become the main project, kind of thing. But I think that attitude is a little bit dangerous, almost in the sense of, I feel like Leo was saying, I would regret not giving this music thing an honest shot. And if it does end up not working out for any reason, sure, I can fall back on something, but I'm not going to bank on falling back on something right now. I'm going to give this all my effort. And I like to think there's no way it can't work out if you're giving it all your effort. And like Leo said, the purpose is real and true and genuine behind it. And you're not just doing it for fame or for all the other superficial things that aren't necessarily part of the purpose. But yeah, it is very tricky. And it's something that I think as a musician, mid-20s is always grappling with, of stability versus chasing the dream and all these things. And so my answer might change depending on when you ask me. But right now I'm in a very, I'll do what I can to make it work. And I'll deal with maybe a little bit less comfy living situations and whatever other things I need to kind of sacrifice in my life in order to keep pursuing the thing that I really want to do long term.
It takes some faith, I think. It's like, I know that something will come together. Also, I can't speak. I just think I'm a little bit nutty in the sense of, if I don't have money, I'll do... I'll clean your toilets. It's one of those, I
mean, let's be honest. There's a little bit of, madness involved. To believe that you can chase this dream, get this dream done, because it's just so unrealistic from a practical standpoint. So you have to be a dreamer. You have to self-delude in a way, too. You have to think, I got what it takes, but statistically, I'll fail. And yet I go for it anyways.
I'm still doing it.
Yeah.
There's something crazy. I mean, to use that language, I don't know if that's helpful, but there's something that's very, I think it is pretty wild that music exists because it comes from a place. It seems nonsensical that I would believe so strongly that my feeling is so important that I think I need to share it so that many people need to hear it. There's something a little diluted about that to begin with. But the truth of that is, for some reason I write songs. For some reason I'm called to do this work. For some reason I have spent so much time with this instrument that I can write a song, and for reasons outside of my control, people are connecting with that. And it almost is I found myself in an obligation that I have to keep thinking this way, or I have to understand that it's not that I need to share my feeling because me. It's it's because we're all people and my feelings are a human feeling. And if I can channel that, I can get it to other people and they can feel what they need to feel. I don't know. It's like I question my sanity when I'm why do my feelings matter so much? Because they do. Because all our feelings matter.
You're just an artist, man.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah. It's all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're doing it right. Yeah.
Thanks.
That's all you can do. I've had a similar dynamic in my life. Day job versus, because it's an interesting idea of making the side project the main project. I like that,
Yeah.
Totally. I always like to think that the band is the main project, and everything else is the side hustle that keeps the main thing afloat.
Yep.
And to put very simply, to kind of further Claire's point, one of the first people who ever hired me for a music gig, hosting an open mic out in Somerville, and a great teacher and someone who gave me a lot of direction, Tom Bianchi, he was you're going to meet a lot of people in your life. And when you meet the doctors, the lawyers, the accountants, the business people, everybody who's making a lot of money, and they see you play music the way that you do, you're going to get one comment more often than other things, which is, I wish I had spent more time playing music, or I wish I'd spent more time painting, or I wish I spent more time writing poetry. I wish I did the creative thing more in my life. But rarely, if ever, do you meet an artist or a musician who's like, I think I should have just been an accountant. I really should have just been a lawyer. And most artists who have committed their lives to it, regardless of financial insecurity, have stood firm on this idea that like a life creating art was a life well lived. And just thinking about that, I'm in the same camp of like, there's no plan B.
Yeah, burn the boats.
I'm going.
Yeah.
I'm going. Burn the boats. If I need to get somewhere, I'll learn how to swim. It's like...
Yeah. But I do also want to add that I feel very privileged in my financial situation, and I know that not everyone's coming from the same backgrounds, and so I don't want the things that I'm saying here to be like, yes, like if you have no money, to keep having no money, and like kind of thing. Like I also want to say, like, don't be afraid to ask for help. Like one of the reasons that I think we as a band were able to get off the ground the way that we were was like during the pandemic, we applied for pandemic unemployment assistance for gig workers, and we really tried to look for all the grants and all of the possible ways that we could get money, including like Kickstarters and things like that. Things that really, it's like, okay, we don't have this money right now, but how can we ask for help to get somewhere, and kind of reaching out to your community and your supporters that are like, I believe in this thing that you do, and I don't know what the right word is, but not being so stubborn or like putting the ego aside for a second and being like, okay, there are people out there who may be willing to help me make this happen if I were just willing to maybe be a little embarrassed at first and ask for that help.
The strongest thing I can do is ask for help.
You have to be vulnerable, though.
Yeah, that's a part of it. I mean, like, to answer your question, it's like I'm not working at this very moment because I got a grant from Mass Culture Council, and they were doing grants for artists. Yeah. And I reached out and I filled out the forms and followed up with them for months, and they just send me a pretty substantial amount of money, and I'm able to step back from the day job work I was doing to take some time to myself and focus on the art. And we wouldn't be around if it wasn't for the community around us and the people who are willing to support what we do and see that we are giving it our all and an honest shot.
You guys had a successful Kickstarter recently, was it? Did you raise $17,000 or something?
We did.
Yeah, that's amazing. I saw your Instagram post thanking everybody for their contributions. So that was able to get money for an album, was it? Yeah,
for our next EP that we're working on. And that was our second crowdfunding type thing that we've done for an album. And we are just always blown away by the support from our friends and family and fans, and really the people who make what we do possible.
Yeah. One of my favorite things is, I might piss off a lot of people by saying this, but I think anybody who says they're self-made is full of shit. Everybody who says, I did it by myself, is just not seeing the world around them as clearly as I think it actually is going down. It's like my favorite anecdote is Arnold Schwarzenegger is like, people look at him like, like when he moved here from Austria, no money. And like now he's the governor. Regardless of what you think about local politics, like this person went from zero status in this country to somewhere. And whenever he's asked, how'd you do it? How'd you make this happen? How did you get from where you were to where you are now? And he's just like, because there was 10 guys at the gym I went to that was like free to go to, and they drove me everywhere I needed to be. And they taught me English, and they brought me to all of my appointments, and they became my friends, and they became the community that helped me find my footing. And so please don't tell me I did any of this on my own, because I didn't. And I think I get the same feeling from this band. It's like, I can't play these songs by myself as the Q-Tip Bandits. And we could play to no one in our basement until eternity, like from now until eternity, and it wouldn't be the Q-Tip Bandits as it is today. It takes every single person in that room, every single person who takes a chance to listen to our music, everybody who is connected and wants to support us. We're nothing without the community, and it's really beautiful to see that when we are in a tough financial situation, that there are people who believe in us and are here to help us.
Yeah. So maybe another song if you guys want to play?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we'll do our song off of our first and only record at this point, called Melancholy Flowers, and this song is called Better Place.
Shoulders hold ghosts on their crowns, and all of these bright eyes, they just dart around the room. Are we going home soon? And all of these fingers hold stories in time that books fail to dictate and pens can't define. Do you need a ride to a better place than here? To a better place, my dear, my dear. My dear. Give me your reason and I'll give you mine. Don't even matter if they don't align. It's true, 'cause they don't need to. Show me your heartache and I'll give you time. I'll wait for years if it means you'll be fine. Do you feel the need to find all of the voices that call out your name and trace all your choices and find who's to blame? You do, and that's alright too. And all of these monsters hide under our beds and whisper sweet sounds to the ones in our heads. They do, but we're going home soon to a better place than here. To a better place, my dear. To a better place than here. To a better place, my dear. My dear. My dear. I'll be a better all place. All of these shoulders hold ghosts on the crowns, and all of these bright eyes, they just dart around. It's a better place when you're here. I'll be a better all place. All of these fingers hold stories in time that books fail to dictate and pens can't define. It's a better place when you're here.
Beautiful. Beautiful song.
Thank you.
So give listeners a sense of what's next for you guys. Where are you guys playing? I think it's on the 15th of September.
Yeah, September 15th, we'll be at Paradise Rock Club in Boston. And if you're not listening from Boston, we are also touring around the East Coast in New England.
Mm-hmm. We'll be headed to Los Angeles as well on October 8th. And if you're hearing this years from now, we'll probably be on the road somewhere near you. So keep those ears peeled. And we're getting into the studio in Los Angeles to record a new EP. And that is scheduled to be released spring or summer of 2024. And you can find us anywhere on the internet.
Your Instagram page, website?
Yeah, it's at the Q-Tip Bandits.
And the Q-tipbandits.com. Yeah.
And the last question is, like, what are you guys excited about right now? You know, you're making this EP, maybe something like that, or performing, touring. What's getting you really excited right now?
All of it. Yeah, I think we're really excited to put out this next EP, and these songs are very fresh and very, very new, I think, for our sound, and I'm very excited to show them to the world. And we are also we're a very live band, and so I'm also very much looking forward to touring those songs, performing them live, and hopefully playing some festivals next summer as well.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to everything as well. But personally, we go back on the road this weekend. It's been about a month and a half of hiatus from live shows, and I'm excited to connect with people again and put on the performance, put on the show, give them ourselves directly from the source.
Yeah.
You know, that's always exciting.
Well, I wish you guys like great success, and I can't wait to go to the show on the 15th myself. And thank you for coming here and talking about how you do what you do, why you do what you do. It was really cool to hear your music as well.
Yeah, thanks for having us,
Thank
Dustin.
you.
You're so welcome. If you guys want to play something to close it down, maybe.
Yeah.
This is our latest single called Tiptoe.
Lips like licorice, slightly sweet in a bitter bliss. It comes with every kiss. He's a morphine mentalist with a melancholic floral wit. Oh, what a cryptic kid. He'll tiptoe through the window, taking one more for the road. And he'll hang on to your halo, knowing he's still gotta find his own. 'Cause he might choke on his tightrope if he don't keep holding on to letting go. He'll be wayward and too far gone, but even the devil needs a friend that he can depend on. Manic and mischievous, an altruistic piece of shit that you can't resist. He's an alky anarchist with the silver tongue tucked between the ribs of pretty painted fists. He'll tiptoe through the window, taking one more for the road. And he'll hang on to your halo, knowing he's still gotta find his own. 'Cause he might choke on his tightrope if he don't keep holding on to letting go. He'll be wayward and too far gone, but even the devil needs a friend that he can depend on. He'll feel it in his fingers, it's buzzing in his bones. He'll fill your life with laughter to feel a little less alone. He'll tell you of his heartache till time has got him grown. In a tale of ever after, he'll love you like one of his own. He'll feel it in his fingers, it's buzzing in his bones. He'll fill your life with laughter to feel a little less alone. He'll tell you of his heartache till time has got him grown. In a tale of ever after, he'll love you like one of his own. He'll love you like one of his own. He'll love you like one of his own. Love you like one of his own.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Curiously. I hope you enjoyed this conversation with Leo's son,